Greetings, hello, and welcome, everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. Sorry about the late start today, everyone, but such is the life of an independent consultant. And anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. I will not let that delay us. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Brendan. This channel here is DevChatter. So named because we're all about developer discussion and communication, so feel free to chat over there in the chat box. Chat with me, chat with each other. We are here to discuss code and other things that interest us. Software development is a large, I guess, industry, technology, information space, whatever you want to call it. It's a good place with a lot of things to chat about. And welcome, people saying hi in chat. Glad to see some folks here right at the beginning. So, quick rundown. We have been working on a community website that we're just now, like, we'll call it, code name of it is DevStreams site. We haven't really named the website, but the goal of it is to help promote the developer developer live streaming community. And try and get a place for, I guess, just a hub of information about what is going on in the developer live streaming space. So we're building it in C# and ASP.NET, mostly because I like C# and ASP.NET Core, and I like both of those technologies. They're fun. We're using JavaScript for the front end for a lot of front end stuff. The framework that we have chosen is Vue.js, primarily because it's cool new hotness, and when you're working on a side project, you can choose cool new hotness that you like. So I have liked the Vue.js paradigm so far. It's kind of fun. I like it. The backend code, so I mentioned we're using C#. For that, we used to have EF Core in there, but we recently just ripped out EF Core. And if you don't know what that is, that's Entity Framework Core. That's the first-party ORM from Microsoft, which means it's like a library that accesses your that accesses your database and pulls data out of there or puts data in using your model objects from your code. So that's why we call it an ORM. That stands for Object Relational Mapper. We have switched from using Entity Framework Core to using Dapper. We actually just did that. That's what this pull request is that I'm going to set up here at the beginning of this stream. We spent a little bit of time, I spent some time outside of the stream as well, doing this transition. It was a bigger transition than I was expecting, despite the fact that we were doing it pretty early in the project. So, to explain, Dapper is not an ORM. Most people would not call it an ORM. I usually give it the term micro-ORM, although some people argue with that even. The reason I'm okay with calling it a micro-ORM is what it essentially does for us is Dapper will take our objects and be able to use them nicely as the inputs and outputs from our database access. But Dapper doesn't do all of the SQL interaction for us. It won't do all the queries. So for our basic stuff, you don't really need to write that over and over. Everybody knows how to do select all the values of a table from a database using the primary key. We don't need to write that code. So those we're using Simple CRUD for, which is another library that leverages Dapper. It's basically extension methods for Dapper for all the common operations that you would do. And then anything more complex, you actually write your own SQL, and in some ways that's good, in some ways that's bad. Most of the time, Dapper gets better performance than EF Core, but again, and EF Core usually gets better performance metrics than some other things as well. They're certainly slower ORMs than EF Core. I don't want to bash it because I like EF Core. We're using it in other projects. So some people ask me, why are we using Dapper? And the short answer is, all of our other projects here on the stream use EF Core. And I was like, well, this one, since we weren't very far in, I was like, okay, we'll bite the bullet, we'll switch it to Dapper so that we have an example of doing things in Dapper. A lot of times when I use EF Core, people will be like, why are you using EF Core instead of these other ones? And I'd say, well, It's the first party one. Most people are going to run into it. Most people are going to use it. So yeah. Rambling Geek, basically, that's the idea with Dapper. We're just using it because people want to use it. We want to see it. We want to show it off. So there's always an educational thing to it. So that actually brings me to one of my favorite points. If you are interested in doing side projects as a developer, I highly recommend you do things that interest you. That's the best way to do your side projects. Make sure that what you're building is either something that is interesting and thus you're going to work on it, or has some value to you, and then that will also keep you working on it. So those are the secret to doing side projects and actually getting them done, is make sure you're interested and make sure it's useful to you. Those 2 points, or you probably won't finish it. The next thing, when you're doing a side project, that is a great opportunity to try new stuff. Don't try new stuff on like some mission critical project for your company. That is a bad way to do things and will likely lead you down a very difficult path. Okay, so anyway, Fishing Dev, Plain Reality, Rambling Geek, S&B, hello, welcome, greetings. Let's see, what did I miss in chat? Because I was sort of talking there for quite a bit longer than I expected. What was your thought behind the... Plain Reality, that's a fantastic question. Okay, so Plain Reality asked a little bit ago, you can't see it in the chat right now, what I thought about the switch from EF Core to Dapper. So first off, it was not that hard to get rid of the EF Core part. The adding in of the Dapper was also not that hard. Neither one was really all that bad. The biggest challenge is that, let me show you with an example. I have no changes right now, so I can just go and do this. Here is the problem that I ran into, and this is a problem created by ASP.NET Core. Now, I love that they do this, love it, but it also makes a challenge if you want to switch off of EF Core. I will show you. Let's go to this. So if I go in here and I say add Razor page, ASP.NET Core has the really cool thing here. So I could choose to just do a Razor page. This will just make a regular Razor page. I could use this option, which is Razor page using Entity Framework. And this is actually going to automatically wire this page up using Entity Framework. It's going to pull in my data context and have it all set up. It's really kind of cool. The next thing is this, and that is both the one that I absolutely love and caused all the problems. So let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and just add this. We're just going to pick an item out of here. Sorry, that's data context. We're going to pick an item out of this one. Let's say, what would be a good choice? I guess we could just do channel tag. This doesn't make any sense. We wouldn't actually use this one. So basically what you do is you pick one of your classes that's in your code, and it just finds them. It gave me this model class here. My cat is pushing my green screen around. So, thanks, cat. Thanks, Jolie. Anyway, so what it does is when I click add, it's actually going to make a set of pages for this. So, see it says scaffolding right now in this window, sorry, that's kind of small. But then over here in this folder, it is actually going to create, I was about to say 4, but no, it's going to create 5 new pages. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, it can't do that because that's not in there because it doesn't know how to do it because it's not, so I'm not using EF anymore, so it failed. That's funny. So it wasn't actually able to scaffold it. I will show you what the pages look like just so you can see. Basically, it wires up all of these pages. It creates an index, an edit, a details, a delete, and a create page. It creates 5 pages for you. And then what it does is, it wires up the front end to be able to display all the data. So the index page is going to be a standard, like, list page, you know, tabular data kind of thing. And then it's actually even going to wire up the back end, and it's going to take in an app data context right in the constructor and just use it. So like it's legit just slammed in EF Core like right into the back end of your code straight, which for a CRUD page is fairly okay if you don't need to do a lot of customization. So I'm cool with the cat. I'm not cool with the cat right now. He keeps hitting my green screen. Anyway, the cool thing is that it actually wired. Yeah, sorry, Ace Flamester. He's on the other side of the green screen, so I can't actually get him and show him. I'd have to go chase him down, which is not something I want to do right now. So the idea is that we get this stuff basically for free. It's not really the way you want to do it. But as soon as you want to go more complex than a basic CRUD page, you're just supposed to extract it out, which I'm cool with. I kind of said, so I absolutely love the mantra, make it work, and then make it right. And then you can add in any of the other stuff that you want after that, because the other ones might be, you know, make it fast, for example, or make it, you know, resource, you know, light, so that it's not taking up mass amounts of data. So the concept is you always want to get something working first, because if you ever have trouble making it right or making it fast or anything like that, at least what you've got right now is working, and working code is better than non-working code. So always make it work first, then usually want to commit and then try to make it better. So make it work, and Scaffold just makes it work. So absolutely love it. Great job, Microsoft. The problem is it made it so every single one of those pages it created was a pain that I had to go into and fix. Let's take a look at our website now that we've talked about that. Actually, let me do this. Cool thing I want to show all of you. New feature in GitHub. We basically did this before, but we didn't really have it. So I used to create pull requests with the idea being, and I would put something in the name. I would say like work in progress. So I would throw like this on the beginning to tell people, hey, that's not really a pull request. I just want to see what this pull request is going to look like. Please ignore it for now. And, you know, because it's going to get changed. But it lets me see and work on the pull request to build it up. I no longer have to do that because they added a cool feature into GitHub that I really love that's called create. It's a draft pull request. So I can draft one, get it ready, prep what I want the pull request to be, make sure that it's got all the things that I need in it. So if your organization really wants to make sure that you have, you know, a good comment on what is actually going to be included in here, actually references all the issues that are associated with it, you can make sure that you get labels, assign the right people, get it associated with project milestones, etc., and actually see what are the changes, what's this going to look like before I have to make it available to everyone else. I don't have to do all that with it public. I can just click this. It's a draft. So this is my pull request. I can still work with it, but it exists. And so I can now make other changes. So this is a big pull request. This is switching our entire thing from using EF Core to using Dapper. We replaced Entity Framework's migration system with Fluent Migrator. This is big. So 68 file changes in a fairly small project, that's huge. So obviously, I still need to make a couple of other changes. You may have noticed there was a red X on there, and that is because through this change, some other changes were made to the project. So an auto merge I don't think can just happen. I think I'm going to have to pull something in. I think I'm going to actually have to merge master into this. We'll find out, I believe, when I click ready for review. So the idea is that this pull request, I can work on it. I can still send commits to it. So if I knew, hey, this is going to be a pull request, I can just do that. And yeah, Kevin, I agree. It really is a great feature. What's my thought on using other databases other than SQL Server with an ASP.NET project? Plain reality, that's totally fine. Depends on which one you want to use and why. The out-of-the-box ability to just use SQL Server stuff and the fact that it wires up so nicely into Visual Studio tend to make me choose SQL Server because it is nice and simple, and I can use like a SQLite database, you know, various things like that. There's a lot of little options that we have available to us. So I tend to go this way, but it really doesn't matter if you wanna go a different route and use something different. That is totally possible. So I've created that draft pull request. I wanted to show all of you how that worked, and now I'm going to run this project. And the reason I want to run this project is I want to show you all what it looks like, how it's working, and other things like that. The license costs of SQL Server make me turn my back on it for personal projects. Totally legit there, Plain Reality. Yeah, if you're going to do a personal project and SQL Server is too expensive, you can absolutely connect ASP.NET projects easily to other databases. It works just fine. For example, Dapper can connect to those other databases if you want. So if you want to run MySQL or something like that, go for it. This project I am expecting is going to get hosted on Azure, and we're probably just going to leverage SQL through Azure. So we'll see how that ends up. Good afternoon, Chef. I'm not sure I saw that tweet. Feel free to send me another one. I must have missed it. I do get a reasonable amount of stuff, so I absolutely could have missed it. Isn't SQL Server LocalDB free if that's sufficient? The Hugo Doll, yes. I believe you can run LocalDB free, and it will run through the DLLs to run it. It's not SQL Express. But yes, Rambling Geek is correct. You can also get away with SQL Express if you just need a single instance. So those are definitely options. So yep. Good stuff. And one other thing. Feel free to mention it to me over on our Discord, Chef. If you're not already in the Discord, this goes to pretty much everybody. You probably should join our Discord. It really is a great place to chat with other developers. So a lot of good people over there. And I don't think I clicked this button yet either. So all the projects, including this one. So if you want links to the stuff that we were just seeing here over on our GitHub, all the code we do here is out on GitHub. So feel free to check that out. Link is over there in the chat. github.com/devchatter to find all of our projects. Nice and easy. Okay, so let's take a look at this website. So here we are. This is the current state of the website. We just have some placeholder stuff on the main page, don't worry about that, and a couple of other things. So right now we have a set of tags right here. Obviously this is not the exhaustive list of tags, this is just ones we have for testing. And over here... Hey, KeelerM84, thank you very much for that Twitch Prime sub, and welcome to the Chatosaurus crew. Please enjoy your new hype emote, and let me see, there's hype in the chat there, and you should now have an egg next to your name. You got your subscriber badge, and welcome to Michael Jolly. Greetings. See, I hope in the future stream we will get to use Identity Server and Docker. Will be good for beginners like me to see that. Yeah, so Ace Flames here. I do have plans to use Docker due to some of the things that I do on my computer. I have Docker installed on my computer here, but I currently have it disabled because of some other virtualization stuff I do on my machine. So I can't keep them all running at the same time, but we will definitely be doing some of that on the stream, don't you worry. Okay, so in here we have one channel that is associated with my account right now. That is this one. Let me see how this is working. Can I schedule things? Looks like maybe. No. Okay, cool. I knew there were a couple of more things. That's part of why this is just a draft pull request right now, because not everything is wired up just yet. So there's that one. I believe over here, if I do tag searching, it does work. Yes. Okay, I can do tag searching. Okay, cool. So tag searching does sort of work here. So we've got that. I think the event searching itself doesn't work yet. So these are the last couple of things. I think we need to wire up the actual searching of events on the calendar page, because I don't think I finished that conversion. And then the other one is we need to allow the creation of schedule pages. So those are the last remaining pieces before this can merge in. Yes, we will be looking at some identity stuff. Don't you worry. We got you, everyone. We got you. There are so many things to cover. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of streams in the future. So we're on episode 170 of DevChatter. We've been doing this for over a year. Lots of good stuff. Okay. So I was actually going to work in Visual Studio, I think, today, not in VS Code. Even though I'm running the project in VS Code, you do not actually have to. I mean, that's just a console, and then I can switch over there and run it if I want. That's just so I don't have to have two console windows open. Okay, so alright, I mentioned the calendar page isn't working. Let's take a look at that. So here we go. Network tab. Let's just hop over to the console. Yep, there we go. Streams, calendar, API events. Alright, so we called the events API. Except we have to post to it. So that's why that doesn't have anything there. Let's do this. Post to the events API. We are going to switch this. So let's jump over here. Because I like the debugging in Visual Studio slightly better. So we're going to run the project over here in Visual Studio. This is going to open up a new window. And obviously connect to a different port because we're running it in Visual Studio with SQL Express instead of running it through the ASP.NET Core command line that we were a moment ago. It's interesting how that switch happens depending on whether you're running it through the command line versus running it through there. That's actually due to the settings that we have in our project launch settings. Okay, so whoops, I don't need to click in there yet. This is just going to run. I forgot, it does its initial request when we go to the page to grab basically all the data filtered to the country that we're in. So let's see what's in our request model. Whoops, come on. Alright, I'm going to watch it because I can't get that stupid thing to work. Alright. So in here, included tags, none. The selected date is February 21st, so that's today. And we said that we're in the Europe-London time zone. And that's fine. So for this, included tags is going to be that. And then we need to call into this. So I am going to make sure that we get in here by jumping to this point. And let's find out what happens. So time zone ID, Europe, London, local date, asset, and included tags should be an empty collection. It is. Awesome. We're going to create a time zone from that time zone ID. So we have the zone. The local date is going to be February 21st. Yep. And this should be... Yep, this is a UTC. Okay, so because London, during the standard time, so not during daylight savings time, is on the same time zone, their time is going to match UTC. So that's why when I look at these values, it's kind of hard to see here, but that's a whole bunch of zeros followed by a Z, which is, you know, you might know, you may have heard someone say sometimes Zulu. That basically means that this is a UTC time, and it's 0 UTC for the hours, which means that the date for London is going to be that one. If I were to check this for my time zone, for example, it's not going to match that UTC day. The reason why is that we want to pull you back a day's worth of data for your time zone. So that's why we ask you to tell us your time zone. Okay, so we've created our SQL here, which I may not have wired up correct. I chopped out the tags. I forgot I did that. Yeah, see, it's a good thing I'm checking in here, because I did that just to make this sort of work. First version. Let's hop down here. This is going to get called repeatedly. and then I want to drop a breakpoint there. Okay. Let's see where we end up. Oh, did it crap out before we even got there? Okay, it crapped out before we even got there. Whew! Well, in that case, I'm just going to do one of these. I need to see what the error is, so we're just going to toss it in here. So we're just going to toss that in a basic try-catch. I'm going to drop a breakpoint there, and we will see what this error is. On Codebase Alpha, in a few episodes' time, we're going to be building an Alexa skill. S&B, that's awesome! I have actually been trying to get my good friend Jablank, so Jeff Blankenberg, to join me on DevChatter at some point to do an Alexa skill. So that is awesome. You'd like to create one where we can ask Alexa, Alexa, when is DevChatter streaming next? Oh yeah, S&B. No, that's totally cool. I'm good with that. And if you want to pull, so like if we set it up so that the DevStreams site has a public API, which is in the plan, it would totally be cool if you have it chat with that. C# to dev website? We're using ASP.NET Core. Yeah, so C# is the programming language that we use in the back end of ASP.NET Core websites. So let's check out the calendar. We'll go here. So this comes in. We're going to go ahead and just debug into here. And let's catch this. So what's our exception? We got a not supported on something. Okay, cool. The member of... Oh, this is our no-to-time instant problem. Okay, so we have not actually told Dapper how to convert from a no-to-time instant to a date-time value that is in the database. So, what that means is this. We have day start and day end that we are using as our day start and day end values right here, comparing with this. The problem is I didn't do this. I need to say if we're gonna leverage the same database, then I need to say did we use Unix time ticks? Is that all we did? Why is that complaining about that? What is a purple squiggle? I don't know what... Oh, because I'm debugging. Yes. Yes, I want to stop debugging. Thank you. Clearly. Oh, whoops. Yeah... We're going to pull this out. This does not need to get created here. Let's call this args. Day start equals day start to Unix time ticks. And I want to confirm that Unix time ticks is what I used in the creation of these. No, okay, hang on. Channel, whoops, my channels schedule, create CSHTML. Let's go to this. What did we use? What did we store these as? Actually, this may not even work yet. I don't know that I've wired this up. Insert the stream session async. Yeah, we didn't wire this up. All right, let's do this then. Dapper. So I set those as a long, but they don't have to be. We can recreate that. So note a time. There was a NuGet for that? S&B, a NuGet for what? Hey Brandon. Greetings, welcome. This one. Yeah, we had looked this up before. I recall this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. In order to use it, we need to be in here. So let's definitely put it in our Dapper project, because this is Dapper concern. Let me just make sure there's not like another one. I don't see another one. And if I'm not mistaken, using this one will actually have it store them as a... I believe the way that that he wired this up, and I'm going to check the code in GitHub just to confirm this, but I believe this is actually going to store it as a SQL date time instead of a instead of as the long that we were doing. In your project startup sequence somewhere called Dapper Node Time Setup Register that registers all the type handlers. Alternatively, you can register each type handler separately if you wish. Yeah, no, I'm good with doing that. So that instance, local date time, offset date time all get mapped. And what do they map to, I wonder? So instance, I believe... Okay, so... So it wants to go to a date time too. If parameter is a SQL parameter, UV type is that. I'm okay with that, I think. I'm okay with that. I think that can work. Yeah. Let's go ahead and give that a try. So first off, we're gonna switch some of our other code. So this is why we're doing this. We want to figure out what the types are going to be. We want to figure out everything we're going to do. So let's open up our migrations, and I'm actually going to just nuke my site instead of switching these because we don't actually have the data yet. Oh, Fishing Dev. Notatime is the time library. It's the date time library we're using. So potentially what we could do instead of this is just essentially do the same thing that this is doing. And use our own SQL mapper type handler kind of thing. So if we look in here, register, SQL mapper, type handler, yeah. So if I were over here, for example, inside of my startup, I could, in theory, say, yeah. I could just specify my own type handlers, which actually, if I wanted to continue using the numbers instead of using the date times, I could totally do that. So let's do that. So where did I wire up Dapper? I guess I've used Dapper already at that point, so we'll put it here. And actually, I think I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna remove the what's this? Who's it's? The NuGet package that I just added. I'm gonna get rid of that, I think. And the way I'm gonna do it is by doing a save all and then going in here and getting rid of this project, because I think we're just gonna put in our own. Because I kind of like that idea, because we are already not doing it the way that everybody else is. So essentially, in order to do this, we just need to implement our own one of those. So let's go ahead and do that. That library really isn't buying us much because we're already working a little bit differently. Brandon, oh yeah, Nota Time is a great library. And Bite Strike, welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. So inside of our Dapper, let's call this a folder called Type Handlers class instant handler. There we go. Now this needs some missing members implemented, which are right there. So essentially, these two methods that the SQL mapper from Dapper has, these pieces are how we take the value that we're trying to put into the database and what we map it to instead. And then when we pull them out, what we map them to. Miha, yes, we have used Rider on the stream before, actually. I have it installed on my computer. It works very well. And it is going to have a similar approach to what we've got here. Because the... because we're using ReSharper, so we get a lot of similarities to that over here. Okay, so the way it works is you set the parameter value. Oh, got it. Yeah. So this is the value. Yeah, so we set this one. Parameter value equals value dot. I think we were doing. I think we did Unix time ticks, is what we stored it in the database as. Okay. And then the reverse was, let's see, return instant from Unix time ticks value and I think that's technically all we should have to do. We could do that, actually. Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. So I didn't even think about for some reason. So me, the guy that absolutely loves that feature, pattern matching in C# is absolutely one of my favorite features. It has very limited uses. There are only a couple of cases that it's great. It is great here. It's also great if you use action filters in ASP.NET Core. So if you're an MVC person that uses action filters, then I can tell you that pattern matching is your friend. So we're going to call that Unix ticks and return instant from Unix time ticks, Unix ticks. And what do we want to do if it wasn't one of these? Can we check what the parameter is? If it's a SQL parameter, you know what? Let's do the same thing. I think this is a safety here. That's not our type. Big int. So we're going to use a SQL big int as our value. And then this one, we are not going to do this. Is there a... yeah, throw data exception. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, dude. Cannot convert value get type to note-of-time instant. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I want to support a couple of other versions. We're going to say date time. Date time. So this is going to be from date time UTC. And let's support the date time offset just in case we're pulling stuff out of the database. So this will let us, this will get us a little more control when pulling things out. So let me explain why we're doing this. From date time offset. There we go. Okay, so short explanation of what this is here. Essentially the idea is when we're storing it in our database, we're planning on storing it as a big int. So we're just going to store it as Unix ticks. I guess we don't have to. We could use a date time offset if we really wanted to. But this is what we have been doing. It's the way our database is set up. We could decide to change it if we want to. It doesn't really make a big difference. So we support it right here. That's how we pull the data out. However, if in reading data from our database, we decide that something else is storing as a date time, well, we can still pull it out as a note-of-time instant if we want. So we'll be a little forgiving in pulling it out, but when inserting it into the database, absolutely has to be Unix time ticks for the value. So there we go. That is how we will handle that, and then this needs to we need to make sure this is running in our startup. There it is. Let's do that. I need to make, whoops. Let's make public static read only instant handler fault. There we go. And we'll make sure that this is the only one. So there's only one of these. It's going to be that. Not that we need, not that it would be a problem if we ended up with more than one, because there's no state on this really, but there's no need to have more than one, so we might as well just lock this down and basically say instant handler.default is the only way to get one of these. So that sort of makes it a singleton. Not a super great singleton, but it works. And that's more just the efficiency if there's no reason to make another one. Especially since it's getting handed off anyway. Okay, so that gets us our instant handler. It's wired up. It should work now. So let's just go run the website, which I'm going to do through here again, because we don't have any reason to believe that it is going to mess up. So let's go ahead and just run it out of VS Code and see what happens. Oh, my connection's not private. Thanks for letting me know. I had no idea that this was a self-signed certificate. Oh, we still got the error. Bummer. Alright. You win. You win. We'll take a look. I still have that on there, and I'm going to toss breakpoint there just to see if we return. We pass our instant... Oh, did I... Oh, son of a... Nope, there's the error. Derp. Derp. Derpy derp. 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 That was on me. I derped that one. Let's try that again. Surprised no one hopped in and tossed the derp there in chat. Oh, I still got the debugger. Okay, well. Here, let me help you out, everyone. Derp. There we go. Every once in a while I derp stuff. We all do. Derping's easy. Alright, what do we got? Invalid object name scheduled stream. Yep, that is an invalid object name. Channels, tags. Debug it again. Calendar. Come on in. And invalid contact name UTC start time. On scheduled stream, it doesn't have a UTC start time? Okay, that I thought was going to work. Hey, Mobabo! Long time no see, welcome! Although, actually, I think it hasn't been that long. I think you showed up at the end of a stream recently. That might have been what it was. Scheduled stream. Let's open this. Homes. Local start time, local end time. Oh, stream session, sorry. Looking in the wrong table. UTC start time, UTC end time. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong table. It should be stream sessions. That's why. Now let's try it. There we go. Okay, so this was the most complicated thing we were doing in this conversion. So this is where I was expecting it to mess up. When using the multi-mapping API, ensure that you set the split-on parameter if you have keys other than ID. I do have keys other than ID. I did use split-on for channel ID and tag ID, which I'm not currently using tags, so I'm going to do that. Wait, hang on. I'm not, I'm not using, since I don't have those ones in there, my only IDs are stream session and channel. I don't need the split on right now. Yeah, Mobabo, probably 2 days ago. Yeah, see, that's why I mentioned that. I'm like, but I hadn't seen you in chat for a little while. But welcome back. Always nice to see people returning back to the stream. It's nice to have you here. There we go. Okay, so 0 events. That's totally fine. We expected 0. But 0's not an error, and that's the significance. Okay. So I'm going to do this as 2 commits. This first one is going to be adding the instant handler. So let's see, SQL mapper for NotaTime instance. Adding SQL mapper handler for NotaTime instance. Add that. And this is fix this the basic stream session lookup SQL. And actually, for now, I'm going to get rid of this. Right now, I want that to be an unhandled exception that just comes up to me because we were not really handling that. I was just doing that for debugging purposes. So here's the real change. So now I can actually see what it is. I extracted out the arguments and I put that up there. Okay, there we go. And yes, Fishing Dev, that was totally a derp. Hey, Code Rushed! Hey, welcome! Haven't seen you in a while. How was your stream today? I did not compete with you today because I streamed 2 hours late. I didn't catch it. I tweeted something at you, Mark, and I don't know what you thought of it, but it seemed like a good idea. It was a CSS thing. So pretty cool idea with how handling the colors, because there was better information on what the colors were. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Using HSL for the colors instead of using just the standard hex codes that you'd normally use. I was pretty sure you'd be a big fan of that. I was like, am I going to send that to you? You're going to be like, yes, you should absolutely always do this because it's clear. It gives information. The thing I was talking about here, let me go pull it up on the tweeters. Here it is. So you can all see this. So this is actually what I'd commented about. Someone was actually pointing out this really cool thing right here, and that is this. In SQL, or not no SQL in CSS, if you're specifying colors, you'll notice that all of these give you the little color swatch so you can tell what the colors are, and all of these are the same colors. So on the left-hand side you can see the HSL, and then over there on the right-hand side you can see the hex values. And what's interesting is that with the grays and the colors, what you actually end up with is, with this, there's no information in these values that tells me how these colors are related. I don't know if that's the same gray. There could be slightly different other colors in there. I can't tell on these if there's any relation. But what you're actually able to see in the HSL version is you can see these are, in fact, all the same gray. So it's all the same set, and then they're just adjusting how light it is. And then in this one, in these colors, they're all saturated and just as light as they were. So if you've taken Mark's course, the Science of Great UI, or what's the Mark? Tell me the name of the other. It's Design Like a Pro. That's it. Got the name. If you've taken either of those courses, first off, they're awesome, and you should check them out. You will learn a ton from them. But he really does go into a lot of the things about what you should do based on light. Mark, I am gonna let you hang on. Let me do that. Mark, I believe you can now post links in the chat. But the link Mark did is this one. So the idea here is that he talks a lot about color and things that you need in visuals and stuff like that. And if you're using this, that makes figuring out, the amount of saturation, lightness, the amount of variance in those types of values that you need in order for this to work. If you take Mark's course and he talks to you about that kind of stuff, if you're using HSL, that's all going to make sense and just be easy. If not, then if you're using this, then you kind of have to work somewhere else also to figure out if you've managed to get enough variance in the colors. The idea being that he'll point out things like how much variation in the amount of saturation or the amount of lightness do you actually need for humans to be able to tell the difference in your design for it to be clear and a good user interface. So with these values, it makes all of Mark's lessons much easier So cool thing. I saw that on Twitter, and I just immediately thought of Mark. I was like, he's gotta do this. He's gotta love this. So it's really good stuff. And I should also mention, this is one of the reasons why I love the developer community, is because we all come up with all these cool things and share information. It's really awesome. So thank you everybody for like being part of that. Good stuff. And no VTMR. Code Rush is not banned from the channel. Our bot just doesn't like people posting links. So gets a little defensive about that. Not much you can do. We don't want people just showing up and posting links, so hence it blocks them. You're presenting the Signs of Great UI at VS Live in Vegas and Dev Intersections in Orlando in March and June. That's awesome. If you guys don't know Mark is really cool. He is actually also another Twitch streamer in here. So I do recommend you check out Mark's channel also. He and I are good friends. We've been, Mark, I've have to have known you for more than a decade now at this point. Awesome guy. We probably met in like 2007 or something. I think was the first time I ran into you doing something totally crazy at a booth at a conference. Just thinking about that. Something like that. Mark is an awesome guy. I cannot recommend following Mark enough. V1N Soul, maybe Vin Soul, not sure, but welcome. You have a question. You're creating a new SQL connection is quite slow. What do you think about some kind of SQL connection cache and using instances from the cache when needed? Vin Soul, I think it's a fantastic idea. It is not something that we have yet set up here in our system. We are just creating new ones. We're not super concerned about the performance yet, so it falls into that make it work, make it right, make it, you know, better kind of thing. You know, that style of approach. So yeah, we aren't set in the design that we've got, but yes, I would be all about not having to create new SQL connections all the time. Part of the trick is you don't want to keep them long lasting. So I would definitely want someone to look into that before significantly making the change and actually make sure that we get it done well. So for now, it's not a huge cost because they're primarily used, you know, per request anyway. Every once in a while, we might create more than one per request, just depending on how we're doing things. That probably is excessive. We probably could get away with one per request. But yes, Miha, you might be right. The SQL connections might be pulled internally already. I don't remember on that one, to be honest. And what a dark star. That was a good test. And yeah, this is not JavaScript, though we do have JavaScript in the project. We're doing JavaScript and C# in here, so you'll see a bit of both. It's both are good stuff. We do the back-end stuff, so our web API, for example, which is what we're in right here, this is C#. The front end that calls this is, of course, JavaScript. We're not doing a Blazor project here, although I'm sure we'll do one eventually. Okay. What was I do? So we have that working. That's committed. The next thing that I want to do is hop over into the create page. Oh, I think that'll work now, actually. Let me local time. I need a handler for local time. Let me go to stream session, and I saw someone ask a question in chat. I will get to that in a second, don't worry. I just don't want to lose my train of thought right here. I need a local time handler as well. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that file, rename it to local time handler. We're going to call it local time handler. It is going to handle local time, and it is a local time handler. It's going to get that. It's going to return one of these. Let's see. Chat. What a dark star. You have a question. You want to clip and crop an image within a bounding box. What can I use to do this? You want to do it in programming, or you just want to do it? Because I mean, that's a simple thing to do in a lot of programs. You could easily crop it using a canvas in JavaScript, for example. That would not be very difficult. I guess I don't know what the scenario is. And yes, Miha's suggestion of FFmpeg, FFmpeg. I have used that plenty, and yes, that can do that as well. It works not just with images, but it also works with video, which is a cool thing. So that is a great suggestion. And the music, information about all the music can be found down below. We're listening to Relax Daily. Really, really good stuff. Michael, the guy that makes that music, is very, very talented. I love all of his stuff. I've been listening to him for years. He's really amazing. Didn't even think about keeping connections alive for some time. Will be disadvantage of such. Yeah, no problem about the answer. There's keeping a connection around, if you're going to do more than one operation, so if you want to do multiple calls to the database for a couple of things, it's useful to just keep the connection up, and you know, instead of closing and creating connections. But I mean, it depends on your circumstances. So keep in mind that there are definitely some cases where the amount of performance improvement that you're going to see is not worth a loss in clarity of the code. So if performance really isn't going to be a problem because your operation really happens like once and is not super intensive, don't worry about performance. Clarity in the code for the developer is going to be far more important than the performance increase that you get from some things. So there's definitely something to premature optimization. Okay, so we don't have to Unix time ticks. What were we doing with local times before? We were doing something with them. Let me find out. We were what did we do with local times in the past? Let's take a look. Scheduled stream. Oh no, it's not here. It's hang on. It's in data. Whoops. Have to be context. From ticks since midnight. So there we go. So this is so that'll be ticks. And this is ticks, tick of day. Right? Yeah, okay, and that's the big int. There we go. Okay, so there is our value for that. That's how we did it. I recall now. So that is the one that does it. Cannot convert from that to that. This is stupid. That's dumb. We're not doing that. In fact, this whole exception is dumb. This is getting this treatment here. There we go. And no to local time is not going to be that. That's going to be name of. There we go. Although I guess instead of name of, we could do like the type of instant and do this. Full name? Yeah, let's do type of with a full name instead of a name of. We'll do a type of with a full name. So essentially what this is going to do is it's going to get this as a type in our system, and the full name will get us the fully qualified name with the namespace. So that will tell us, this will end up saying notatime.localtime on this one, and then on this one notatime.instant, and then it's not hard-coded in the string, which, yes, I do still have to spot that this type is here because we're not pulling it from some other value, but it should be good enough to make that fairly reusable. Next thing I need to do is go into the startup and make sure that we're actually using this value. So we need to tell Dapper local, the local time handler default. So we have those SQL mappers now. And over here, we're going to say adding local time handler for adding SQL mapper handler for local time. And I'm not going to mind that the instant got changed in that as well. Ace Flame's here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the GitHub text is kind of small, so if you're not on a big monitor, that could be a little tough to read. Sorry about that. Good stuff. Caffeine. That's like developer fuel right there. So we don't need that anymore. So in theory, let's debug this just in case we get any errors. I want to be able to make sure that we find them. A couple of things, since there might be new people here. If you're new, welcome. Feel free to ask questions, anything like that. We're open to that. We're a discussion kind of place. If I don't get to the question or if I don't know the answer, someone else in chat may. And in addition to that, we also promote our Discord pretty thoroughly here. We do think it is a great way of communicating with the developer community at large. I think we're nearing like 500 people in our Discord. Something crazy like that. It's not like, you know, super chatty, but you can definitely have good discussions with people over there. So feel free to check that out. Link is in the chat as well as down below the stream. Lots of good stuff there. Okay, so that is error-free. And then when I go over to my channels and I go to schedule and I say create, and I say create a Monday at 2 to 4, you cannot insert the value null into local start time. Why did you try to insert null, I wonder? Alright, let's take a look at what happened. So inside of this, so that's schedule stream service line 40. Schedule stream service line 40 right here. We apparently try to do that. Let's resend with all the data. Stream, what'd you come up with? Did this not bind? Okay, hang on, wait. Local start time, local end time, there's no sessions yet. ID of 0 because it's new, it's on Monday. Channel 1, that's my time zone. Looks like all those values are there. Insert async stream into that. Local time. I just added the handler for local time, so it should work. We definitely have values on it. But this is the one that fails? Cannot insert null into local start time. Alright, let's do this. What's going on? Let's drop a breakpoint in the handler and see if we catch that. Yeah. Weird. I'm wondering something about this right now. So looking at this, this has me thinking. The simple CRUD that we're using here, because this is using an insert async out of simple CRUD, I am wondering, does this maybe not know let me confirm. This is the name. This is definitely the name of that value, right? Yeah, that matches. So this local time value is not getting converted when we go to insert this. Dapper SQL mapper query async, IDB connection, type effective type, command name. That's an interesting one. It's like it didn't do the conversion, even though we just wrote our handler for it. Local start time, big int, not null. Yep. Big int, not null. Oh, so what they should be. Big int. Tick of day. Why didn't this get called? Local time handler. I didn't like wire up the same one twice. Local time handler. That's a good question. Dapper, simple CRUD. These are SQL mapper type handler. I added a SQL mapper iCustom query parameter handler. Called this from simple CRUD as part of the what? Works fine in your case because you're using a stored procedure. The user defined type needs to come from somewhere, and in the case of the stored procedure, that there's a parameter. However, Dapper also inquiries. In that case, without this call, there is no type name, and the call will fail. It's important to me. Thanks, Mark. It's not our scenario. Exactly. Yeah, because it feels like insert statement not working with custom type handler. Yeah, that's what we're running into. Why is this such an old issue? Trying to create a custom type handler to handle the following: convert next. Okay. Yep. Register the type handlers. Yep. And then when you do that, you insert. Insert into this. Huh. Yeah, these are what we're doing. Yeah, that's interesting, because this bug definitely seems to still be here, because we're still running into it. Huh. Anything new that person says to do with this right now?
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Yep. Yeah, so we could have done our tags this way, which would be an interesting one if we wanted to do our tags as a comma separated list. We didn't. Welcome, Don Bonito Droid. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Yeah, Coding Karma. It seems like they maybe tried to fix the bug but didn't. It's hard to say. Makes me wonder if it's something about the way that because whoops, Dapper ORM tutorial. If we go here, I wanna go grab the hang on. Surprised that wasn't going to jump me there. So here's the challenge. They want us to do this. If we're gonna write this, they want us to do this approach where we like insert into and put in the values and everything and write it like this. Which I don't want to do this because this is a pain in the rear to write. Which is why for basic inserts we don't do that. We do where is it? We just do this, and we have this simple insert async that just kind of does this and passes in the values and does that work. But there seems to be a problem. No changes. Cool. So let's do this. We're not really going to use this long term. Are all of these not null? Yes, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Okay, so I don't insert into ID because that's already going to be there. So I need to do channel, day of week, local start end, and time zone ID. And doop. 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 Sound effects are free, folks. It's not customer, it is scheduled streams. So there you go. And instead of being an insert async, it is going to be a execute async SQL. Parameter is going to be the stream. And I think that should be everything. It should give us back the ID value if I'm not mistaken. Insert, nope, it's going to give us rows affected. And then I guess it's going to pull it back out and show them. That's silly. So that's not the ID then. Well, I won't worry about it for now because we don't really use that for anything, so I'm going to ignore it, but we'll see what happens just because I want to test and see if it definitely is simple CRUD or if it's something with our type handler. So hence dropping back to the simplest form of just doing this insert, which is not really the way that we want to do it, but hey, let's find out. My channels, schedule, add. Let's see if I typoed any of those because I was just... We're in here now. We got a breakpoint in the handler, so it's using the handler now. So for some reason, simple CRUD, it's not using the handler for. So confirmed. That's what's going on. No. Oh, this is the sessions. Oh, yeah, no. This is fine. This is a different error. This is not the same error. It tricked me. I was like, wait a minute, did we just get the error again? No, we didn't get the error again. Here's what happened. So we were over here. We just changed this code. The problem is, we then go and need to do an insert on the other value. So we then did an insert of additional other records, and this is the creation of the additional other records. right here. So those ones are not using, again, not using the conversion because the insert async is not working. So also, I just realized the hilarity of this. So I'm just reading this. This is just funny, everybody. I want to point this one out. So I'm using a lambda expression right here. And so I declared this value s, and so then I had a parameter s inside my insert async. So it looked, so when I was reading this as English, and I was like, oh yeah, it's insert async and potentially plural, because we had the parens and the s after it. When you can't tell the difference between programming and English, there's a problem. Okay, so for some reason, when I do the raw SQL execute, so simple crud, what are you doing? How do you do your insert, I wonder? Simple crud, insert. So it's gotta be the values that's the problem. Build insert values. Hey, Balmy! Greetings, my elite friend. And thank you for those biddies, much appreciated. Hype, hype. Because we love having things cover the screen while we try to read the text. Alright, so key attribute, required attribute, yeah. I'm super confused right now. Okay, we put in the property name as the value. Yeah, okay. So we do that. So this should wire up all the names of the properties and their properties with the @ sign prefixes. And then in here, GUID value, what's this? Okay, it's not a GUID. If it's an int or a long, convert it to int64, get value as a... You can actually... Return the ID. Yeah, okay, so it wants to return the ID. When does it actually do that? So, entity to insert, transaction, true. Okay, so hang on. What are the parameters on query? What did it pass? So we did... Also, did you all know that you can do that, what I just did there? Hey, Balmy, doing pretty well, thanks. So the cool thing that I just did here, I don't know if you've seen that, I pulled 2 tabs off of my Chrome window. I don't know if you all know you can do that. You hold Shift when you click the tab and you can actually pull a set of them off together, because I wanted to be able to switch between these. So the SQL is the first parameter. That's the arguments, which they call param, which is probably not a great name because parameters and arguments are not, in fact, the same thing. There's the transaction we're using. Buffered. Okay, and timeout. We do not specify the command type. So it looks like maybe the problem is... Oh! Oh my god, I know the problem! Oh man! Yeah, exactly, Mark. It really is a good trick being able to do that, because sometimes you do want to be able to pull off a set. So if I want to move these, if I want to move two windows together, I can just do that. So okay, no, Ace Flames here. It's not my derp. It's a problem with Dapper. I think. I'm fairly certain. Maybe. I think, well, I don't know. I have a concern. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test my hypothesis. Hang on. So first off, getting rid of that. That's the piece that's failing right now. We're not creating the sessions. I'm okay with that. If I comment that out, that's the one that's failing. That's the second one. We'd have to wire that up to make that work. But I think this is going to work now. Without error, it's not going to do all the tasks because I eliminated the second step, but that's okay. This is just test data that we're messing with here. Oh, yeah, we actually already have that one, so cool. Well, I'll need to fix that in a second now, won't I? So apparently we're not passing the model object there. What? This page not running? Oh, okay. Oh, because we wired it back up with that, we didn't have the value. Okay, so the link to go back to details after you edit that is what's broken. Okay, that's fine. Oh, it's fine. We can deal with that. So we're gonna have one from that page to that page. The details page it tries to take us to is not correct because it's supposed to take us here, and then I think. I don't know. Either way, I'm where's that actually supposed to take us? Schedule. Yeah, that's where it's supposed to take us. Okay. Wrong place, but that's fine. So I have the redirect after create wrong of a schedule. Channel ID. Channel ID. Channel ID should be the one that we need, actually. Okay. Since I was in there, I'm going to fix the other bug while we're here. Might as well. Just make that a little bit nicer. But either way, that piece seems to work. Now, since it looks like that's working, let's try and break it. I wish I'd got... I don't yet have my integration tests set up. This really is the point where I should probably go set them up so that we can try this. Because I think that's a problem. First off, that's hilarious that the start time and end time are coming out that way, but... I'm okay with that for now. There we go. Scheduled streams, view data. What do we got? So those are real values. It's just not pulling them correctly. Again, the reason it's not pulling them correctly is it seems like Simple CRUD is not using my type handlers. So those mappings are not happening, and I think that's simple CRUD that's doing it, because these values made it into the database with my custom insert. So that really makes me wonder, what are you doing, simple CRUD? What is different about you, and why won't you use my handlers? Okay, so here's the weird thing it's doing. It's not doing a... So simple CRUD is not doing an execute, it's doing a query. And that is the big difference. What else did they append? Get identity. Yep. Should be defined right up at the top. Yep, here we go. Select cast scope identity as big int as ID. So there we go. So this is what it does at the end of my query. So I will just put this at the end of my query as well, and we'll switch it. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go to... Well, I'm going to see if I can make mine fail, because if I can make mine fail, that will prove the theory. Create. Boom, let's go here. So we did an insert followed by that. And now this SQL is no longer SQL for an execute async, it is SQL for a query async. Entity to insert does a query, entity to insert r.first.id. Yeah, okay. So let's just wrap this. What is R? Okay, so in theory that works. Let's find out. Does that break everything? My channels, schedule, create new. No. Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with querying. What is it that they're doing that makes that fail? Entity to insert. Did they do anything strange with the entity? This is just straight up the value I passed in. Yeah. Hey, Janiscu, welcome. The fact that it's buffered, maybe? we'll do a null we'll try passing in a null transaction. Hey! Jolie, say hi to everyone. See, I told you we were probably getting a cat stream today. This is Jolie. He's the one that likes to mess up my green screen. He's a very nice cat, but you know how cats are. When there's something to mess with, they're gonna mess with it. So we call this pair programming. I'm gonna go ahead and let him type for a little while, and yeah, that'll go well. So, Rambling Geek. I'm not sure that it can be caching on us. I don't know. Right now we're so the question of what we're doing, we are trying to track down why our simple CRUD library that we're using is when it calls, for some reason, when it calls connection query right here, it is failing SQL stream null. What was the default timeout? Didn't it have one? No. Okay. Whoops. Okay. It could be the transaction. I'm not sure if one of these things gave it a transaction. If one of the calls inserted one in. I'd be really surprised. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and pass those in there, see if we can make that mess up in some way. From result, that's what I wanted. Yeah, in question mark ID equals. That's what I was just gonna fake in there real quick. Oh, yeah, that's weird. Anyway. Sure. Can I do that? And then say int question mark ID equals this, and then fake it? Oh, right, this was not one of these. I have to wrap this and say dot first dot ID. Now it'll work. There we go. Do I need this? No. Okay, so that was the complaint the whole time. Alright, that's fine. A Chatosaurus with a pet cat. Yes. We should totally do that at some point. Either as stickers or something. Janisco, I like the idea. Schedule. New. That also works just fine. Okay. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why simple CRUD won't work. What is the deal with simple CRUD? As soon as I put it in, everything bombs. Because if I replace this code with the very, very simple, instead of this stuff, I just int ID question int question mark ID equals connection dot insert async scheduled stream, which actually that's redundant. And do an await on that. Then that should get us our value just fine. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what the deal is. Because for some reason it seems like simple CRUD fails, but I'm looking through the code of simple CRUD and we're doing pretty much the same thing. It's almost like something about the SQL it generates, which maybe I should look at the SQL it generates, makes it so it doesn't do that conversion. Yeah. What the heck? Something about the way that it creates that. Dapper SQL Mapper. So it calls Dapper SQL Mapper query async when it calls that. Well, WTF, man? Actually, that's a good point. Does it make a difference if I don't call the async one? I sure hope not. Well, the problem is it's the SQL that's requiring the date time, Rambling Geek. So, I mean, I can change our SQL to not require it, but that's a But I'm trying to figure out why it's inserting null. It's for some reason it's not doing the conversion. Yeah, so we call this, it says doing a simple CRUD insert. It does a query against the SQL mapper there. And then link enumerable to list. Yeah, the thing is, it's not even calling our handler. So it does not call this. Well, I guess we don't know that because I don't have my breakpoint right there, but earlier when we were testing this, it was not calling those. So let's go just run that again just to confirm. It's not even it doesn't even call the mapper. It doesn't even try to convert it. So that's the part that's weird. For some reason, this doesn't even get called. Something about the way that simple CRUD is inserting that, it is bypassing the simple mapper type handlers. I don't know what that is. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over to Dapper Simple CRUD. And create an issue. Oh, I'm not logged in. Wow, that's some old stuff there. Yeah, my code is basically like the code that fails is checked in. Fixed redirect after schedule create. We're on a branch right now. Are you thinking about like taking a look at it and trying it, or were you thinking to show as an example in simple CRUD? Because I obviously don't have these little test bits here, but the current code tries to use simple CRUD and does not work because it does not call our handlers, which is quite annoying because I wish it would just call my handler. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that, and then move this down to here. And I think that is gonna look the best in here. Yes, okay, perfect. Oh, yeah, no problem, Rambling Geek. Please feel free to take a look. Maybe you can figure out what it's doing. But Simple CRUD is definitely giving us some problems there. That is a very weird one. Huh. So we're not doing those right now, so I've got them commented out because they're broken. So we're gonna do this. That code works. Bypass simple CRUD. Make mapper work. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's really annoying. Huh. That is in that window. I want to go there in this one. And simple CRUD dapper. And I need a link to this code that we are working on. Commits. Whoops, commits. Nope. No, Rambling Geek, it's the Dapper Fluent Migrator branch. I'm going to delete the Dapper branch just to avoid that confusion, because I got rid of that one. Because we're on the other one now. And commits. What are those things called? SQL mapper, SQL mapper type handler. Not working with insert. Custom zoomer. Musings. But the my custom SQL mapper type handler simple local time does not get called when I use the insert extension method. I'm not sure why that is the case. I can write custom query async and execute async calls that that use my handlers as expected. I have one more thing I want to check before I send this issue into that repo. There's one other possible thing I can think of that might be causing the problem. So here's what I want to check. So we did this. Let's comment this one out and switch back to this one. So we're going to call the insert async again, but this time, just in case, we are going to go ahead and tell it to ignore a column. So let's do this just to make sure that this isn't what's calling it. We're going to editable false on our sessions just to make sure that those helpers aren't, like, that it's not trying to do anything with them, because it shouldn't. But if that's what's causing it to mess up, first off, that would be weird. Second, it's possible that the problem is that it's trying to create that, and maybe it's messing up the parameter list somehow, because that value's not there. I'm not sure. Either way, let's try this. Nope. Nope, still fails, same reason, so, okay. In that case, I am not sure. Where were we here? That is a link to that. Preview, does that look okay? I'm using my SQL, but my custom SQL member does not... let's go grab that code. And we'll just put it in here too. So we're going to put this in here. Not in the preview. And then node time dot local time. This fails by not calling my handler. This succeeds by calling my node time dot local time handler. Preview? Nope. Preview? There we go. Okay, that's better. Is this publicly accessible link? Yep. Okay, great. So, and I don't mind doing that kind of stuff on stream because it is important for people to see, like, what do you do if you find a bug in an open source project? And that's exactly what you do. And keep in mind also that I was trying to put as much, like, notice I tried to put in information like, hey, here's what's happening. I'm using one of these. I put in what the type is. I have said that it is that I'm doing a node-to-time local time conversion. I'm doing a SQL mapper type handler that's registered. And now, while I didn't say how and where I registered it or anything like that, I have pointed out that this code works and calls it, and this code does not work. This code does not call it. But both sets of code should do it. The other thing I want to point out is that I made sure that I used the example that used the query async because that is the same version that they're doing down here. And I also have things like extracting out the ID inside of my SQL query so that I am as close to their circumstance as possible. So I'm trying to make sure that if the maintainers of this do look at my issue, the best chance they have of succeeding is here. So maybe one of our viewers can figure out what that one is by digging into Simple CRUD, because we could potentially send them a pull request even for how to get that one fixed. But either way, I think that would be a good change all the same. Either way, I don't think we actually need that, and we don't need that change either. Okay, great. Alright, so a couple of things I do want to mention. First off, if you haven't yet and you are enjoying the stream, be sure to click that follow button to make sure you get notified when we go live. I stream roughly 4 times a week, so the DevChatter community gets together on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays most weeks. And we've been streaming for over a year now. We're on episode 170. A lot of our community is actually over in our Discord, so if you want to chat with me and the other members of the DevChatter community, I highly recommend you join that. Discord is a chat application that you may not be used to. It's commonly used by gamers and Twitch streamers, and it's also used by a lot of projects. Link over there in the chat, as well as down below the stream. And if you're someone watching in the future, either here in the video section on Twitch or on YouTube, hello future person, I hope that the world is much better tomorrow, as it's always nice when the world is improving. A couple of other things, if you are interested in contributing to any of our projects here on the stream, all the code we do here on DevChatter is out on GitHub at github.com/devchatter. You can find information about contributing as well as how to make suggestions or post issues and things like that. If you do have questions, you want to contribute to any of our projects, again, I recommend you join the Discord because it's a great way to chat and make sure that you have an understanding of that. So if you are new to contributing to open source projects, you want to make your first contribution, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do so with a Twitch streamer. That doesn't have to be me, but I recommend you do a Twitch streamer because of the fact that there is that connection. You can feel more comfortable sending it. They're usually more open to questions and chatting about how to contribute to that, because a lot of us are about trying to promote the community. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, I recommend you do that. Is a much better way to go. As I said, our videos are out on YouTube as well, so you can actually see any of our archives going back to the beginning, including playlists and everything like that. Again, links in the chat and down below. If you are interested in following me anywhere else on the internet, for example Twitter, links are over there in the chat as well as down below. My name is Brendan, but I go by Brendonius a lot of places on the internet, so you'll find me all over using that name. So you'll find me gaming with that name. You'll find me on Twitter and obviously here on Twitch as well. Rambling Geek, hey, thanks for the 100 biddies, much appreciated. And If you just want DevChatter updates, there's a Twitter for DevChatter as well, but keep in mind that underscore on the end there. We did not manage to get the DevChatter name. There's an unused account that has that one. I wish Twitch would free those up and get those to you. The last things that I want to mention, first off, I need to click a couple of buttons here, like this one, which you guys don't really see when I click that button. Oh, you know what? I have not hosted Lucky in a while. I should do that. Anyway, so a couple of things that I want to do. First off, I want to click this credits button right here, because I want to make sure that I thank everybody that did everything awesome today. First off, Balmy and Rambling Geek, thank you very much for the 100 biddies each. And S&B, thanks for hanging out and helping to moderate the channel a little bit. And Don Bonito Droid and Bite Strike, thanks for those follows. And Keeler M84, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Please be sure to enjoy your emotes. We have a lot of DevChatter Chattosauruses in the chat. You'll notice them all with their dinosaurs and their eggs and everything like that next to their name. Those are the subscriber badges here in the channel. We love our derpy, hypey dinosaur. He's really awesome. And again, everyone, our next stream will be on Saturday at about 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you don't know what 1 p.m. Eastern Time, that's about 1800 UTC. I believe so. 1800? Yeah, I think. Yeah, it should be 1800 UTC. And that is, so if you look at your clock right now, subtract 3 hours and 18 minutes, and that will get you to our start time on Saturday. Because I don't think anyone's shifting daylight savings time this week. So, I really appreciate everybody hanging out. As I said, be sure to click the follow button if you didn't already, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy coding, everyone, and take care.